Okay, I'm Patrick Moore.
I'm Marlisa McLaughlin.
Welcome to Health Buzz.
Perspectives on natural health and healing.
Well, Marlisa, we're making history. This is the first time we've ever done a show using Zoom and far apart. The name of our show today is called Natural Solutions in the Age of the Coronavirus. And this virus is changing all of our lives and affecting all of us. This worldwide pandemic, something we haven't seen in, Marlisa, what, since 1917?
100 years ago with the Spanish flu.
Right, and it's
Right?
changing our lives. It's amazing. It's changing our lives dramatically, where we're doing all these different social medias and far apart from each other. But what we want to do in our show today is focus on, there's a lot in the media on, will we have therapeutics? Will we have vaccinations? What can we do to get rid of this virus? But very little attention is being paid to how we can actually strengthen ourselves to help resist this virus if we're exposed to it. So today's program, we're going to concentrate and focus on natural solutions, nutritional, lifestyle, supplements, things of that nature, so that we can take control of our lives. But before we start that, Marlisa, you have something you want to say.
Yeah, we'd like to link spiritual arms right now and just join in global humanity to just honor all of the people on the planet right now, and especially for those who have gone out and really just put themselves into great sacrificial positions, and for those who are suffering and have passed on, for the loss and the grief that we have experienced as a human nation. So we would just like to have a moment of silence. And behind me, I have this beautiful gong. So Patrick and I thought it would be really lovely to invite some beautiful sound healing into the beginning, with the acknowledgement to being connected and also just offering compassion and love out from that place. So just take a deep breath. You throw your shoulders around and just maybe wiggle a little bit and bring the breath deep in, and then just let it go. And just maybe close the eyes for a second and just gently relax. Feel your brows smoothen. Feel your body loosen loosely on the inside. Maybe if you're sitting down, just tap your feet on the floor and really appreciate being supported and on the earth. And then rise up through the top of your head so you can open up your spine and your lungs so the breath comes in more gently. And then just with great honor and reverence for all that we're experiencing. Thank you for being present in that moment.
Marlisa, and that's our big spiritual hug to everybody out there in the world, because first time in our lifetime, perhaps, that we're all together facing the same challenges all across the world, our families, our children, our jobs, our work. How has it affected you in your personal world that you live in?
I've actually been incredibly fortunate to be healthy, first of all, and to be with those who are also healthy. So I've had no personal intersection with struggle and loss with the virus. And so I have been able to engage in an outreach online in a way that I've been feeling really good about. So using the work that I do in the energy system to reach out and help people understand that you have a readily accessible and available function. You don't have to learn anything just to breathe. So it's I am thriving at a time where others aren't, and so that comes with its own systems of release, and maybe not so much guilt. I had to take a look at that and say, okay, so instead of feeling bad that others are suffering, I'm going to embrace the good and feel good about being good, and then pull in like so many other people are doing out there, and just being generous and sharing and compassionate and kind. So it was good for me to slow down. I needed to slow down. So,
well, we talked about the word crisis, right? Has two meanings in the Asian languages. We know what crisis means in English: challenge, something difficult. But crisis also means opportunities. So although we are challenged with all kinds of losses in our life, the human contact, many people can't see their families. Many people have lost their jobs, their income, frustration. It's hurting a lot of families across the country with this economic decline. It's also an opportunity, as you're saying, to look for the positive. And you have talked many times about the word grief, right? How things can be in mourning, but they can be elevating too. Could you explain that?
Sure. So I've been working on a book for the past 2.5 years, and I couldn't find a title because I was really struggling with what is it I'm trying to help people do, having been grieving pretty much since the age of 7, going through many losses. And being an energy worker, what I realized is that we can be vibrant in our loss. So when we're feeling devastated and drained, and our immune system is weakened because of the loss, it doesn't represent our relationship and reflect the amount of love we have for those we've lost. It's actually indicating that our energy system is depleted. So putting all of the emotional aspects of the loss just a little bit off to the side for just a split second, when we're able to take a look at how we can really support our energy system, our immune system, our overall sense of vibrancy, we're able to build up more resiliency to keep ourselves healthy as we move through the grief. And that's, the grieving experience is just it's a life experience, and it just becomes part of everything else, although you feel very separate. And in the world right now where we are being asked to isolate, it's actually created a reverse effect on how we previously grieved. Because before, the grieving process, or not a process, the grieving experience very much isolated people. You might be the only one experiencing the loss in that way. Now everybody is experiencing loss to some degree, whether it's the loss of an actual person you love, or your lifestyle, or the stability that you were used to. All of these things we've lost and we're gaining. So if we can remain vibrant and healthy during this, that's going to help us better fight the virus and keep us healthy all the way through.
Well, absolutely. I can't wait for your book to come out.
Thank you.
One thing I have a loss of is my barber. I mean, practical matters. My hair is getting long, and I think it affects everybody, the beauty salons and things of that nature. And but
Well,
I'm glad that
yeah.
yeah. So,
Really
Marlisa, yes, it's a real challenge today. But as I said before in the introduction, missing in the discussion today on television with all our great scientists and medical doctors is what can we do to take better control of our lives through proper nutrition, lifestyle, supplements, diet, things of that nature. And there's very little talk about that. And to me, the best virus protection plan we can have is to have a well-nourished immune system and a positive attitude too, like you're talking about, the way you approach crisis, grief, and things like that. I recall Deepak Chopra said that our immune system is always eavesdropping on our thoughts. So our mental aspect is, and when it comes to the immune system, I recall, what did Benjamin Franklin say? An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure.
Right.
So that's what we're going to focus on today, and maybe you could take charge with that and start it off, our next segment.
Sure. I'd like to just also acknowledge the fact that with all good intentions, there still is an enormous amount of mixed messaging, which is creating a lot of chaos and confusion and opposition at the same time as all of this information is actually helping and supporting us. So there's a lot going on amidst the change, and really nothing of great consistency. So the best thing that we can do is really just bring it all in and focus on exactly what Patrick is talking about. How can you strengthen your own individual unit, your own sense of being and self, enhance your vibrancy, and really stay strong and stable in this fear-induced environment? Because fear is going to create instability. It's going to make you contract, and it's going to create a lot of incoherence, which is a really good transition now, because Patrick, you actually suffered from COVID and recovered. Could you talk about that?
Yes, I was probably exposed at church March 8th. A few days later, I got a email from the priest to all parishioners to quarantine themselves because someone had tested positive, and so like a good person, I quarantined myself from my family, and about a week later, I started coming down with symptoms where I was tremendous fatigue, malaise. I had no energy. Started to develop a very powerful dry cough, a little bit of fevers, and loss of sense, taste, smell. Some of the traditional things you hear about. But I was never afraid of it or anything like that. To me, it was like a mild flu. And since I have such knowledge with nutritional medicine, nutraceuticals, I really powered up my system with a lot of good foods, diets, lifestyle, more than I normally do, and got through it. And I'm grateful for it because I have the experience of it, and I feel like I've been tested with antibodies, which is not 100% certainty that I have full immunity or to what extent that immunity is, but I think it's very good in that respect. And having that experience and putting putting in a nutritional medicine program and food program, I feel I can better help people by having that experience. So I thank God for it. Not that I would want anyone to go through with it, but I think it really affects a small minority of people, mainly the elderly and those who have comorbid or pre-existing conditions. So they're the ones that are most vulnerable, and particularly the communities of color, African American and Hispanic. And so we're going to get right into that immediately and start talking about some of the supplements I've used. And again, Marlisa, I think you'd agree. We're not here to give medical advice, right?
Absolutely not. Please consult your physicians, whoever your physician is, or this care system that you depend on and rely on for your health, for making decisions. And just realize these are opinions and experience-based sharing from Patrick's own toolbox of wisdom. And I don't want to forget, Patrick, to also just to tell our listeners and our viewers that Patrick had an experience where his mom was given pretty much a life sentence of 48 hours to live. There's a video that you can see online. We've done a show on it, 48 hours to live. And that really set the precedent for your protocol, Patrick. Could you share a little bit about that?
Yeah. Yes, my mother was given 48 hours to live. And in fact, she had the same illness, acute respiratory distress syndrome, that's killing all these people on the ventilators or sick. That's exactly what the virus does. It attacks the lungs, inflames them, they become drowned with fluid, and then that's it. You can't breathe anymore, and you go. So my mother had that. All the pulmonologists at Yale gave her 2 days to live at the most, 48 hours to live. So we did a TV show on that. I implemented a lot of the protocols I've learned over the years, got permission from the medical staff, and pulled her out, and she went on to live 12 years and was credited for that too. So one of the things we suggest people really look at is vitamin D. To me, that's the number one nutrient because it powers up your immune system, but it does something else. It modulates and regulates your immune system because what's causing the problems with these people who are dying or getting very, very sick is inflammation. So it's not the virus that's actually killing people, it's the inflammation that it causes. And that inflammation is called the cytokine storm, where your lungs are just overwhelmed with this massive inflammation, like a forest fire that can't be put out. So vitamin D regulates the immune system so it doesn't overreact, and it strengthens it dramatically. In fact, a study just came out 2 days ago by the Queen Elizabeth Medical Foundation in the United Kingdom, in conjunction with another medical university, and they surveyed and studied 20 different countries in Europe, and they found there was a powerful relationship between those who survived vitamin D, moderate to high, and those who died, low vitamin D. And that correlation goes in many different studies across America. So for the African American community, I mean, this is something we should really be looking at, and the people of color, because they don't get that ultraviolet B sun as well. And for all these people, regardless of color, in the nursing homes, which are very affected, I mean, they're warehoused in there. They're never getting outside. It's winter time, spring, so they're very severely deficient in vitamin D. And that's the first thing we should be looking at and treating as a preventive.
And I'd also like to add that, in terms of the energy system, we are like batteries. We're mostly salt, water, and electricity. And the electromagnetic field that we live within and generate is powered by the sun. The sun is sending down the electricity and the electromagnetic field that nourishes our energy system. So, and that's the source of all that we are. So it's really, really goes into the very deepest layers. And also vitamin D being a hormone, that's like you said, it's not just a vitamin, it's also helping all of the other systems function.
Yes, and for anyone who wants to learn more about that, we did on Health Buzz. Health Buzz shows sunshine and vitamin D. I remember because we hooked up with Iceland, your friend in Iceland, for that. So go on to Health Buzz YouTube, sunshine and vitamin D, and you can see that show and learn more about that. But I'm going to go through the other nutrients quickly because what I used on my mother, based on the all the studies of great scientist Linus Pauling, two-time Nobel Prize winner, was vitamin C, and using it in large dosages. So vitamin C is anti-inflammatory, which is great, what you want, and it also powers up the immune system. We see throughout China it's the standard of care with all these patients with the virus. They're putting them all in IVs. And I just want to quote from in New York City, Northwell Health Facilities. They represent 23 hospitals in the New York area, including Lenox Hill Hospital in Manhattan, where my daughter Carlina was born. And the pulmonologist there, Dr. Andrew Weber, said the patients who received vitamin C did significantly better than those who did not get vitamin C. It helps a tremendous, tremendous amount. But he said it's not getting enough attention because it's vitamin C. It's not some fancy drug. The other nutrient, zinc. People should be taking zinc. It inhibits viral replication, and it is tremendous for our immune system. Another nutrient that's very little known is what's called, Marlisa, N-acetylcysteine. N-acetylcysteine, or we call it NAC. It's a natural occurring protein. You find it in chicken soup, and it's used in the hospital as mucomist, but it's available at any health food store. It's great
No, it's interesting that you say it's called NAC. Even though it's NAC, it sounds like neck, and this is where the virus is really attacking. So it's really easy to remember that way. If you can't remember it.
It's a wonderful nutrient, N-acetylcysteine, sulfur-based, and taking it in capsule form, it really is synergistic with vitamin C. Powerful antiviral, dissolves phlegm and mucus, and it helps to inhibit swelling of the lungs. So it's really a very useful tool. I mean, those are 4 major nutrients. I mean, some people are using elderberry. We know the history of elderberry going back to Hippocrates, which has a balancing effect. And it has a nutrient in it called quercetin, Quercetin, which you find in onions, peels of apples and things like that. But it's a powerful antiviral also. So those are just a few nutrients. We could go into 100, but those are the basics. Get your D, get your C,
and
get your zinc.
Don't forget the fish oil, yeah.
Fish oil, anti-inflammatory, no question about it. So Marlisa, what are some of the foods you might think about that, or do you want to go into hydration? Let's go into hydration next,
let's take hydration. So first of all, we want to drink warm water right now. That's been said to actually move anything viral down into the gut where it can actually be destroyed with the acids. What do you think about that, Patrick? Is that viable news or information?
Well, the main thing is hydration, because viruses proliferate with dry nasal passages. So you want your body well hydrated and moist and things like that. They don't like the humidity. So that's a great idea, Marlisa. Also, we had our two things of ginger.
Yes, absolutely. And green tea.
Yeah, green tea has antiviral components to it, antioxidants, things like that. And I used a lot of ginger tea when I went through my bout with the virus, because it's anti-inflammatory, because you get all those aches and pains for many people.
From inflammation.
From the inflammation. And it also has a lot of antivirals in it. So drinking ginger tea, drinking green tea, perfect.
And my favorite, let's not forget the favorite. Like I would not expect this to be on the list of hydration, but cocoa.
Yeah, cocoa, wonderful. Dark chocolate, things like that, has a tremendous effect on soothing throats, things like that, passages. So it has an inhibitory effect, particularly with coughs, which is one of the main symptoms of that I went through and some other people have gone through with this virus. That to me was the most difficult. Dry, hacking cough that just wouldn't go away. I thought I'd be coughing the rest of my life. But the cocoa helped, the ginger, and also a lot of lemon juice. A lot of lemon juice is really good. Warming it with honey, things like that, really good. All that vitamins.
Antimicrobial.
Yeah, vitamin C.
Yeah.
So let's go to food. Food, I think an anti-inflammatory food plan is like learning about the Mediterranean diet with its fruits, vegetables, olive oils, yogurts, things of that nature. Get all that probiotics, fermented foods, and that are so crucial. Garlic, I use a lot of garlic, diced garlic, a couple tablespoons a day. What else would you think, Marlisa?
Coconut.
Oh,
That's a big one, antimicrobial, and
very,
yogurt,
very,
kefir for your gut health.
yes, exactly. That coconut was very, very powerful. Very, very powerful. Antiviral, antibacteria. I take the coconut and just put it in my coffee, Marlisa, and stir it around with 1 or 2 tablespoons. It has an acid in it called lauric acid, which you only find in breast milk. So it's
that's right.
very,
I forgot about that.
yeah,
So a lot of essential nourishment in that.
yeah, very powerful
Yeah.
antiviral.
And a yogurt and kefir, your probiotics for gut health.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, definitely. And chicken soup. Again, chicken soup has a little bit of that NAC, N-acetylcysteine, in it, and all that broth and things of that nature. And I had some bananas too, because viruses tend to deplete potassium, and potassium is our electrolyte. So having some bananas around and things like that. Because if you do get exposed to this virus, it may just cut your appetite out. So you want some simple foods.
Well, that makes sense. And
Marlisa,
sweet potatoes, we talked about citrus. Sweet potatoes are easy in the oven, and you can have them available to pop in to if you're really ailing. That's an easy thing to have if you can get them.
Right, vitamin A based foods, carrots, sweet
foods.
potatoes, things like that, great for immune system and lungs. Marlisa, you're the sleep expert. What can we do for sleep? And why is sleep important?
Oh my goodness. Your immune system gets to relax. It completely can just float inside your body. So when you're tense or you're struggling, your musculature is squeezing, you're contracting, the lungs are being compressed, and so the nervous system has undue stress on that. So while you're sleeping, you can go into a deep state of rest, and that's when your body's deep inner wisdom awakens and helps with the vibrancy, helps self-regulate. That's the thing. You're your own healing system. Everything else is supportive. So with deep rest, we get our most powerful healing run, so to speak. So it's really important.
And sleep in this day and age, with all the stress that's going on, fear and things like that, and uncertainty, it's so crucial to have good sleep, because that's when your immune system is repairing itself. Some of the things I use was melatonin, which many people know. It's our circadian rhythm, so it's good for sleep. But what they don't realize, it's a powerful immune booster and antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, powerful immune booster. So that's a good thing to use and can help sleep. I use magnesium too a lot. Magnesium citrate relaxes all the muscles. And when you have a deficiency of magnesium, viruses tend to proliferate faster. And lavender, you can use some type of,
any kind of
essential oils.
aromatherapy that can get you to relax. Meditation music.
Yes.
You can go online to YouTube and get some, meditation frequencies. You don't even have to have anything that can help you just get into a deeper state of relaxation, to get the alpha waves changed over so that your brain calms down and helps your nervous system calm down.
Yes, and there's one other nutrient capsule that I use. It's called Stress Arrest is the name of the product. And I love it. It's from a company called Designs for Health in Connecticut, but it contains what's gamma-aminobutyric acid, which is your relaxation hormone. So that can be very useful.
That just makes me want to take a deep breath.
And lifestyle, get out and get your sunshine, get that vitamin D, get nature, get fresh air.
Take your shoes off and get into the grass for earthing, and that gets you connected to the earth. You're not being separated on concrete and rubber-soled shoes, so you can get that electromagnetic field powered up as well. So
yes, and also for those who are of the spiritual religious bent, the power of prayer and the power of having faith in your Lord, faith in your God, is so powerful, because again, your immune system really is very influenced by your thoughts. So prayer, meditation, things of that nature, so good. Limit alcohol, limit the smoking. Smoking is bad for the lungs. And what about hygiene? What can you? Let's go through the basics.
The basics, and we have those in front of us almost every single day. And I'm really happy to see how easy it is for the most part to do this, like hand washing, preventing germ spread with using your sanitizer. Being aware of touching your face and touching things and washing down surfaces.
Wearing a mask.
Etiquette, wearing the mask.
Show me cough etiquette.
Okay, cough etiquette. So, yes. So carry the hands. I always have a little pack with me. It's in my pocketbook and in my car, and I can take it with me wherever I go. And there's nobody here right now, so I don't have my mask on, but I always do when I'm out in public, which I've curtailed as well for social distancing, and I'm really try to honor that. And I see a lot of participation that way. So, yeah, it's great.
Yeah, follow the basics and all that disinfecting you can do. Don't go mad over it or anything like that, but we tend to overlook our light switches, all the doorknobs we touch when we go in there, even the carriages we use when we go to the grocery store and push those around. I mean, have some sanitizer, things like that. Just basic common sense, but just think about it.
And
We
out of
can do it.
courtesy for others, that's really important. It's not, I've seen a lot of mixed messaging going on and a lot of mixed behavior and a lot of mixed attitude about not wanting to participate in any of this. But there is a risk, and we see it every day in the losses that we're experiencing. And out of respect for your fellow human being, try to just think of it from that perspective. The truth has 144 sides. So for each one side, there's 143 other sides to the truth. And the problem with not honoring that is if that is the truth, and we don't honor it, then we're exposing people at risk. And we want to just protect one another and really support the global community. So think of it from that perspective.
I couldn't agree with you more, and I want to applaud, our fellow citizens. 90% are really troopers and really doing the best they can to respect that. I mean, there's always the 10%, but for the most part, it's really made me, if I want to sound patriotic, but just very proud of all of us, particularly here in Connecticut and all around the world. So what are some summary or final ideas we can talk about, to summarize all this?
We just want to bring you a sense of empowerment. Knowledge is power. Try to back away from the fear. It's very overwhelming because fear is going to make you contract, and that is going to bring a block in your energy flow and make you feel overwhelmed. And when you're overwhelmed, then you're really, you're starting to drain the battery. The energy is going to something else other than empowering and powering up your immune system. We want to instill a sense of confidence about this, that you do have the tools, and they are not expensive. They are readily available most often. You can get them on Amazon. The breath is the most important thing. That doesn't cost anything but the intention to take the breath in, bringing the nutrients you need into your system. What else, Patrick?
Yes, Marlisa. So, we want to have people, instead of just being fearful and stressed, to take control of their lives. And this is what this program is about. Certain suggestions for nutrients, food suggestions, lifestyle, public hygiene, things like that. So we can make a difference. And one of the things we wanted to ask people to do, because in this times of stress, sometimes we forget what we're grateful for. And we like to ask all of you to, every single day, and this can really help your immune system and your positive attitude, write down 3 things that you are grateful for. Make it a habit. Every single day, write down 3 things that you are grateful for. I just got the grateful list just this moment, in fact, just before the show, from my daughter, Carlina. And it was really sweet, and it meant a lot to me that she could think of that and use that tool. And it just changes your mindset, because there's a lot of depression and there's a lot of stress that you're talking about, and grief and things like that, but to change that mental framework. Marlisa?
And to support, that will also not only support you, but it's going to support those around you, even if you're not, directly interacting. So, and that's happening. There's a lot of beautiful things happening in the world also today. So bring that into your heart with your gratitude, and may you be well. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, so thank you very much, and send us a note if you have any questions. We'll have all our phone contacts and email contacts, and thanks again to Frank and the SEC Television for doing a heroic effort to make this show possible. Thank you, Frank, and
Thank you,
God bless all of you. Be well.
Be well.
Bye.